Audio test 1 2 3. Audio test 1 2 3. Audio test 1 2 3. 1 2 3. 1 2 3. Audio test. Audio test 1 2 3. Audio test 1 2 3. Audio test 1 2 3. 1 2 3. 1 2 3. Audio test 1 2 3.
Bulleen Lions in a tasty clash. We've got the music pumping here. It is a brilliant night for football, really chilly conditions. My name is Georgia Rajic, and I'm very excited for a commentary debut here in the NPLW to introduce Melbourne Victory captain, Kayla Morrison. Kayla, thank you so much for joining me here in the broadcast.
Thanks for having me in this freezing cold weather. I'm so excited to get started. Obviously, my heart is with Bulleen, but it's being torn tonight with Sophia Sakalis as my Victory roommate, starring for Box Hill tonight, so I just hope it's a great game today.
Well, let's talk about some of the stars coming in. We'll run through the lineups for both teams quickly. Really important to note that the transfer window has opened for the NPLW. So a lot of those players who are playing for the A-League Women or contract to the sides now available for the NPLW. The only exception being players who featured for Melbourne City in the Asian Women's Champions League. That's why Rihanna Polosini, you might be able to see her in the broadcast this evening, but she won't be able to play until the 30-day period is done.
As well, there's one Victory player who wasn't able to play for Box Hill from the grand final, Laura Pickett.
I was curious about that because I did see her name on the transfer sheet. So let's quickly run through the starting lineup for Box Hill. So it's Natasha Stepopoulos in goalkeeper. Number 9, Karina Rossi. Number 14, Katie Cox. Number 15, Sophia Paliwoda. Number 18, Sienna Chichera. Number 22, Holly Murray. Number 27, Nicolina Bacalo. In her 100th game this evening as well. Number 28, Ellen Parberry. And number 99, Sophia Sakalis. Your pick of the bunch for the Box Hill players, so to say, Kayla.
Not just a great footballer, a great person, somebody that you root for and you love having on your team.
For Bulleen Lions, number 25, Emily Shields will start in goal. Number 4, Mila Bullich. Number 6, Paige Zoyce. Number 7, Danny Butros. Number 8, Sarah Kane. Number 10, Madison Rakic. Number 13, Ava Brightus. Number 16, Grace Cagnina. Number 18, Tiffany Aliadis. Number 22, Alana Cordolino. And number 30, Holly Massey. They will be the players starting for them this evening. So some massive names across the board on both these teams. A lot of players who've tasted success both here at the NPLW and beyond. Tiffany Aliadis was also playing for South Melbourne throughout early in this NPLW season, has now made the transfer move across. But so many names that you'd be personally quite familiar with for both these sides.
Yeah, I think, Bulleen definitely got in probably their usual suspects. Box Hill, kind of the same. But I think when it comes to Bulleen, Tiff has been a great pickup for them. Someone who can play all positions, can fill in any spot that you need filled, and a great cultural signing as well. Great person, great teammate, brings energy, brings competitiveness, and also brings experience, like a lot of the people who have signed on at Bulleen.
Well, looking at the head-to-head in this fixture, it is pretty much one-way traffic. It's 21-match unbeaten streak for Bulleen against Box Hill. You have to go all the way back to 2016, the 13th of August, the last time Box Hill won in the league against Bulleen, and it was 1-0 at the Ven.
Wow, I had no idea. I think that is definitely a crazy stat because Box Hill never has a bad team. I think they always come in strong. They're a dark horse. You never know what you're going to get. But if they come out to play today, it's going to be a great matchup.
Of course, these sides faced off back in round 1. And it was Bulleen as well who continued on that unbeaten run. They've won the last 7 matches between the two sides as well. So it was goals on that day to Danny Butros and Yovsevsky, and of course won the solitary goal to Box Hill's Gabby Simpson. So both teams getting on the score sheet for that evening, and it will be Box Hill to get us underway in the traditional blue. Karina Rossi, the pickup from Melbourne City, getting the first kick of the game. So many looking to go back. Holly Murray playing in the back line for Box Hill this evening. Of course, a Canberra United player as well. Played with them in recent seasons.
Interesting to see Holly Murray in the back line because I know for the past few seasons she's been playing as a 6, especially at Canberra.
And a beautiful ball threaded through. And is that the opportunity? And it's the first goal scored in the opening minutes by Danny Butros. Wow.
Could it be? It's got to be her. She's had a stellar season, great start, and just like that, that's what we know her, that's what we love her for.
Well, I actually was looking at the goal statistics going to this game. Bulleen hadn't scored a goal in the opening 15 minutes, and I was like, well, there's only one goal scored. We're expecting all the action to be later on because in the final 15 minutes of play, that's where they've scored half their goals this season. But maybe they're undoing all my statistical work and starting a new trend. What a goal by Danny Butros.
I know Coach Caitlin said before the game started, oh boy, it would be nice to just go out there and get a goal. So maybe the girls listened.
Well, a strong start in the opening minute of play here at Wembley Park. How about that from the Bulleen Lions? They're currently sitting 5th on the ladder. They'll be looking to push up, especially with the additional support from the transfer window. So, but of course, it's a player who's been shining for them all season long in Danny Butcherus. Box Hill now looking to slowly build up from the back. A long kick over the top. Rossi underneath.
That's going to be a good matchup there, Rossi and Tiff. Both, competitors, both really physical, willing to get into a challenge, and both got a little bit of attitude on them. So I know that it's going to be good to see out there.
Expect a lot of fouls won and fouls conceded, and beautiful 3-ball there. Running onto it was Sienna Chichera. So great work there to get us underway.
Yeah, Sienna was at Victory training with us all season. I think she's on an amateur contract. She kind of trained mostly as an outside back, so it'll be good to see her get some time playing wing, which I think is more her natural position.
Spoke to her briefly, I think, at one of the home games, and now, again, work being underdone by Cordolino, who previously played for Football Vic and then really set the league on fire last season for Bulleen.
Yeah, definitely got the reward for a good season last year. Got called into Western United. I know she'd like to have gotten more game time there, but a good season here, and you don't know what's going to come.
Well, Bulleen holding a line share of possession. Long ball pumped in, headed back out. Murray lets it drop to Alacino. Again, Murray really starting the game strongly. Ball pushed wide. Kane first two.
I didn't know going into this game if Box Hill was going to be in a 4-3-3 or a 4-4-2, but it kind of looks like they're sitting in a 4-4-2 at the moment. But we'll see if that person out left pushes up higher. And Sienna, she'd be a great striker to have, strong and fast.
Well, cleared away strongly in the end by Parberry. Long ball pumped over the top. Rossi on the run. Aliada's just smart there to clear it.
Yeah, I think the speed is something Box Hill is going to bring up top, some speed and some pressure on the back line, but Tiff's experience should be able to handle that stuff well.
Of course, last year's premiers have experienced a lot of success in this league. Ball bobbling around. Eventually Kane's the player to connect with it. Alacino pushing it wide. Palawarda now looking to just scoop it up and push it down, but very congested in the midfield at the moment.
Congested, and it seems to be whoever's winning those second balls is the team that's coming away with it. So I think that's going to be a big point of this game, is if balls are going long, who's going to win the knockdown.
Dangerous situation there, and a swing and a miss. The hand goes in the air, but we really could have seen 2 goals within the opening 5 minutes of play here for Bulleen, but they have looked the steadier of the two sides.
I was down there earlier. The field looks good. It does seem a bit bobbly through the middle, so I don't know if that's something we're going to take into consideration, trying to get, crosses off, long balls into those wide areas where the grass seems to be better. But girls are going to have to keep their head down and focus when finishing in that central zone.
Looking at the last time I called a Box Hill game, it was against Brunswick. That was a 5-0 romp of a game, but it does look like a lot of players are playing in slightly different positions from what I saw last time. Saw a lot of work from Palwoda in the 6th position, now seems to be playing as a central defender. So it might have been some changes. I know that one of their most recent prolific goal scorers in Georgia Karaparidis is out injured, so that's a big loss for them this evening. And again, good work from Murray, who's been really busy in the opening stanza.
I don't know if her and Cordolino have played together before. I know they both went through that emerging program, but that's going to be a good matchup as well. Both got a little bit of experience under their belts now, and I'm sure they're ready to take on that challenge.
Massey And again, almost being guarded out by Cox. So Box Hill win the throw, but it'll be hard fought to try and bring it out of deep within their own half. And won back quickly by Bulleen. And as quickly as they want it, there's a move here by Sakalis. Show some patience to wait for players to set up. And Rossi couldn't keep a hold on the feet. Does seem like Massey is really lurking along that back line. Sakalis, well, sandwiched him.
Sakalis and Kane, I know they both played at Perth together, so they might know each other's tricks and have to keep a close eye on each other today.
Well, she shrugs her off, the defender, and again, and Murray doing so much. Buttress tried to get through with the turn, but Box Hill now finding their connections.
I think Liv Ellis will also be someone to watch even in the attack for Box Hill. It seems like she's getting really high over on that left, and they kind of go to a back three when she does that. But she's got the ability to get up and back. She's been a very fit player. So I think that will be something Bulleen will have to watch out for.
Well, she scored the goal of the week all the way back in round 10, or round 8 rather, with a beautiful strike outside the box. So we know that she's got that ability as well. Oh, look at the speed and Cordolino absolutely dancing down the side and cut off by Alicino, who's really been deployed. You tend to see a goal-scoring threat for Box Hill so far this season to be pushed up in a wing, but I guess with the new players in, she's really being forced back defensively.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting dynamic when you get the players back, because do these players have to keep fighting for their spots? Do they, get merit off what they've done? Good tackle there from Holly. I can appreciate that as a centre back. But yeah, it's an interesting dynamic, and just keeping everyone on the team happy and keeping that culture happy as well. It's something that the coaches definitely have to manage and balance.
Well, the call from Stapolopoulos is to really push up. Haven't seen much of her this season. In fact, it's been a 16-year-old that's been playing in goals for majority of Box Hill season so far. Made her first appearance last round, of course. No games played last week. There was the bye. Beautiful work there by Rossi. You just can't let Butchros do that at all. And pushing forward, and wow, everything being thrown over by Bacalo. Kane leaving her in her wake. Scoop.
It seems kind of like a game of transitions at the moment. Really high energy, a lot of running, big tackles. I think it'll be important, and at some point both teams will calm down. But yeah, really entertaining to watch.
Yeah, super entertaining so far. Well, of course, we already had that first goal scored in the opening minute of play, but we've seen already a lot of movement from both teams. Long ball, Teixeira there first on the run. First touch a little heavy, able to keep it until just slowly rolled out. So the intent is very clearly there from Box Hill. You can see the style of play they're wanting to execute.
Yes, obviously having played with Sienna, I know the kind of player she is. She's strong and she's fast, so those in-behind runs are really great for her, and that is playing to her advantage.
Pull from Breedis in the center. And now it's a foot race, so who's there first? Aliadis versus Rossi. On the technical nuance or display from Bulleen there, just to be able to control play with one touch.
That's the kind of experience that I think, even if it's not her natural position to be a centre back, she still brings that calm on the ball. And I think that's something Katie was looking for.
Katie Cox tried to, wouldn't quite say thread through, but place it in a good position for Teixeira. Couldn't quite nail that one. Of course, Katie Cox is the leading goal scorer for Box Hill this season, having scored 5. Now here we go, Zoyce on the run. Delightful ball from Zoyce. Cut off by Paliwota. But you can, again, it's just so much build-up is there. Who can just really nail that finishing in the final third for the sides? Well, of course, there's also the Nike FC Cup draw this week, and Bulleen have pulled Alamein, another NPLW side, to face in the quarterfinals of the Nike FC Cup.
I think Bulleen maybe lost to Alamein when they played them at the start of the season, but it's a new team from both sides. I think both teams have probably grown in their own way. I think it's going to be a great matchup, and it's kind of how cup football is. I know there's, VPL teams going against NPL teams, things like that. It's whoever shows up on the day is going to be the winner. So I think it'll be a really exciting game to watch, and yeah, make sure everyone's tuned in.
Sakalis looks up, and Teixeira is away. Teixeira all the way back, and who's there to meet it? Oh, there's a stunning opportunity there for Box Hill.
Sakalis definitely not the person Bulleen wants looking forward, driving with the ball, and vice versa for Box Hill. That's who's going to be able to get them out of these situations and really be able to turn the momentum of the game around. So, yeah, whoever you're rooting for, that'll let you know what you want happening when that ball gets on her feet.
Box Hill building more and more chances and opportunity as the longer this game progresses. Box Hill forced to go a fair way back. Alice on the ball, looking for a little bit of switch up of play. And now the press really on display from Bulleen. Just the touch there from Paliwota, but couldn't direct it to keep pushing it forward.
You hear the call from M. Shields, not happy with how Bulleen was pressing in the moment. She kind of thinks it was a bit disjointed, the front two pressing and then the rest of the team kind of sitting back. So just getting everyone to press together seems to be how she thinks that they're going to get out of this little Box Hill, whatever they're doing good.
A lot of patience being shown by Box Hill. They're just passing it along the back line and involving their keeper, but again, looking to pump that long option. Chested down by Aliadis. Now the run from Cordolino. Heaving strike, and again, just positioning there by Paliwota in the right spot. Teixeira.
You see both teams kind of falling into the trap at times when they have a lot of time on the ball, just then looking to lump it forward. And I think it's definitely an easy trap to fall into when you have so much time. You think like, oh, I need to get rid of it.
Holly Massey, beautiful delivery. Cordolino, 1-on-1. And it's a brilliant save. Stravopoulos will have to move quickly to get back on her line. And the Box Hill fans are very impressed in the stands with that. But
great save from the keeper. If she doesn't make that save, this game could definitely swing Bulleen's way. So she's really keeping them in it at the moment.
Yeah, it's been a while since we saw, at least a good couple of minutes since we've seen a really strong attacking chance from Bulleen there, but it's their ability to turn it on a dime and connecting those players at so much firepower in the attack line. When you look at, what Massey has been doing this season, Danny Buttress is on fire, and Cordelina, of course, has a point to prove after wanting more minutes in the A-League Women. So really these opportunities, and it's the best audition for next season across any league that they want to put in these performances now over the winter in the NPLW.
Yeah, I think it will be really important for Box Hill to stay switched on, even if they do have some possession of the ball, keeping that rest defense tight so that one moment can't change this game.
Rossi inviting Kane in for the challenge. Sakalis. Sophia Sakalis goes for the strike. You can't help but feel it's going to come. She's had such a prolific goal-scoring history in her stints at Box Hill, but strong save by Shields there. Wasn't too troubled in the end.
She's got a great strike, though, so even from those distances, it's worrisome for a back line. So I don't know if that's something they need to tell their midfield or to get their back line higher or just be really switched on. But, yeah, it's going to be a danger if she's shooting from there.
Well, lofty ball just kind of wasn't quite sure if it was a cross or a shot, but dealt with efficiently by Shields. Sakalis gets stuck, and it's the first foul called of the game, and we're about 18 minutes, almost 19 minutes through, so it's been a remarkably clean game, so to speak.
Yeah, I think still big tackles, which is what you want to see, but you don't want to see so many stops. I think the referee's done a good job letting a lot of things, go, and the girls are doing great to get in and do it fairly.
Very free-flowing game of football so far. Sakalis, long range, and it bounces off the gloves, but goes back safely into the hands of Shields. So Box Hill weren't able to fully capitalise, but again, adding the important shots on target stats to their name, whether they can convert that into goals, that is the big question in this match. Cagninia really putting her body on the line there. Ball swung in, headed about, falls to the feet of Teixeira, but again, Kane mopping up those deliveries.
Pressure is building from Box Hill, though. They're getting forward, they're getting dangerous balls in the box, and, maybe even if that's a foul that they're playing on, and they're making what they can of everything, it could help them.
Well, the whistle is in the mouth, but in the end, offside is the call, but yeah, Buttress still down on the ground, so called to have the physio come over. It was just the stray leg in the end that caught her.
Look, if that was Sienna, I've taken some of those stray legs. She's gangly, but she's strong, and yeah, that hurts, but she'll be able to shake it off, I'm sure, and keep playing.
It doesn't help as well, given the cold of this.
Oh, it's probably so cold. I can't even imagine laying on that grass right now. That's what would get me up off. I'd be on my feet playing because I'm just trying to stay warm.
So both teams probably looking to use this opportunity. I always think it's interesting to see how the different teams combine or they separate during these moments. You can definitely see the back line having a heavy conversation for Box Hill. Similar situation for Bulleen as well, but then it does look like we are pretty much grouped across the other positions. So each of the specific areas, just having that conversation, we've gone past the 20-minute mark now. The score has been locked in at 1-0 in Bulleen's favour since the opening minute. It was a very early goal scored by Buttress. So play will be restarted from the offside called against Box Hill.
Those little moments can be very helpful. Obviously you never want one of your teammates to go down, but to have a quick line meeting and kind of talk about what's working, what's not working, it is actually beneficial for both teams to kind of work out little problems before halftime.
I was always curious in the A-League women's season, of course. There's no timeouts in football, but the drinks breaks are as close as we're going to get to that sort of situation, I think, and you can definitely see how some of those teams took those drink breaks and really made it an opportunity to be coaching players and having those conversations on how to, get back into the game. Opportunity now, Teixeira, and just wide! Well, Box Hill have been pushing, and it's a strong start by Sienna Teixeira and her return to Box Hill United. Not a bad effort.
Great ball by Karina Rossi. If I could see it again, maybe it was a bit of an outside the right foot. But yeah, Sienna will be mad that she didn't score that one, or at least get it on frame for that opportunity.
Well, she's got 2 goals in her NPLW history. Can she make it a goal on her return into the competition this year?
You were talking about the water breaks. I think it is kind of a coaching tactic as well. If you know you're going to have 2 water breaks, it's playing 15-minute increments. You know you're going to have that chat. So it's like, get through this 15. Let's do this and this 15. So it really can be a tactic if you know that you're going to have these breaks. And, you see it all the time. People go down with, cramps, quote-unquote, injuries, quote-unquote, to give people those times. So it could be a tactic, when you feel like you're under the pump or getting pressure, to go down and kind of, just regroup as a team.
Beautiful little flick on there. Now Teixeira again running after it. Strong defensive challenge from Bullich. And then go out for a goal kick. We haven't seen a corner yet from either team. We've been a lot of strikes dealt with or just a little bit wide, resulting in goal kicks. But again, strong defense, I would say, to prevent any of those corners so far.
Yeah, definitely. Even that challenge from Milla there. A lot of times those balls go out of bounds because they ricochet off, but to be able to make that challenge and keep it in, that's in a league of its own. So really great challenge from her.
Ball takes a heavy deflection. First 2 is Alice. Palawoda. Again, Box Hill just showing off that patience.
Yeah, I would definitely say Box Hill's been controlling these past 10, 15 minutes. Bulleen kind of sitting in a lower block here at the moment. It seems like they start to press once those front 2 decide. So got a little gap here showing, and it seems like Box Hill is taking advantage of that.
Parberry out wide to Sakalis. The fans are on their feet here. Deflection and away. And again, we just spoke about it, Kayla, about the fact it was looking very exciting. Rossi goes for the strike, blocked by Aliadis. Again, just bubbling around the midfield, getting control now by Breeders. Parberry. Well, no one around for her for support. And play continues on. Swing and a miss from Parberry. Kaninya pushing down the flank. Butcherus. Lovely ball from Sakalis. And down the line, just that little toe in the end pushed out by Cagninia.
Yeah, I'm thinking at the moment Box Hill's midfield looks like they're on top of the Bulleen midfield, and that's something that's helping Box Hill control this game. You can't hear Katie screaming from this far away, but I'm sure she's telling the Bulleen midfield that they've got to deal with Sophia and deal with those other midfielders in there because they're turning too easily and, creating play.
Bukalo out wide to Parberry. Delightful sliding tackle by Butcheros, and she has acres of space in front of her. Just staging that run to make sure it didn't invite the challenge, and pushed off the ball by Paluota. And really the first free kick won by Bulleen.
Yeah, and probably in a pretty dangerous position with the likes of Paige, who can really hit these from this distance. So I think if I'm out there, I'm telling her to shoot, so it'll be interesting to see what she does.
Limited minutes this season, was battling injury in the A-League women, so back now. Played in the cup game last week. How important do you think it's for her to get back to her goal-scoring ways like what we saw last season in the NPLW?
Yeah, from going from not playing many minutes to 120 minutes, I don't know if that's exactly what she was looking for, but she got through it, scored a massive penalty to, help them win the shootout. So I think this will be a great off-season for her. I think she needs to have a really good one. I think she needs to score goals, assist, and just, get her confidence back.
Joyce has the hand overhead, looks to deliver in the cross. It looks like it just flicked off the very top of Aliadis' head, but into the path of Stapalopoulos. So, as it stands, we still remain locked in at that 1-0 score in Bulleen's favour. But back to what we were talking about with Paige Zoyce, and again, that's one of the reasons why this competition is so important. Of course, it's a fantastic competition in its own right, but it's important for these players who may not have missed out on minutes through injury or otherwise to be able to get their footballing fixed throughout the year.
Yeah, and look, I've played with Paige for a long time. She's a great player. She's got a lot to prove. I don't think the cards have fallen for her how it deserved, in my opinion, to have been. But, she's so resilient. She never gives up. She shows up every single day with a smile on her face, and she gives 100%, and that is very rare when things aren't going your way. And so it's very respectable. And, yeah, I've never heard someone say a bad word about her coach or teammate, and that says a lot about your character as a footballer and a person.
In the midst of that, well, great to have, Melbourne Victory captain here, Kayla Morrison, joining us on commentary today. Debut in the NPLW. Hopefully we'll hear more from you this season. Of course, great work from Mikalo, her 100th game. Spent 9 years with Box Hill. Alachino, again, just muscling Buttress off the ball. Now, we go back to the patient play for Box Hill. So, just when that little spark ignites and they push forward, usually finding someone like a Sakalis or now an Alice.
Sakalis' positioning. She sits in between those two lines where Sarah Kane's sitting as the 6. So when Box Hill wins that ball, Sophia's constantly in a really difficult position for a midfielder either have to turn around and win it or a center back to have to step out of the line. It's really smart positioning from her.
Long ball. Claudalina has the afterburners on. Murray just benefiting from just having the right positioning there. The press now on from Bulleen. One well by Buttress. And somehow Savopoulos was there first, but of course it'll be a goal kick.
We'll have to focus on trying not to get trapped. Bulleen have a really great press when they're in their final third and when the other teams are in their back third. So it's focusing on, how can we get out of here without being too fancy? And sometimes that just comes down to being a bit ugly and just booting it out.
I guess as well, when you think about some of the speed they have on the wings, it really is dangerous because of how comprehensive their press is.
Yeah, and they're always coming off that back shoulder. So when you're receiving the ball, you can't see them coming. So that's really tricky as well. You're kind of guessing their speed, and they're a lot faster than you always think they're going to be.
Aliadis coming in to mop. Kane plays it low. Alachino there, however. Now Sakalis. Box Hill looking to build. Parberry with the cross swinging in. And the call going against her for the push in the back there from Rossi.
Yeah, you can tell Tiff's not a complete center back because if she didn't get the call, they were away on goal. So that was definitely a midfielder move from her to look at the ref saying, where's my call?
Shields plays it short. One well. Masakalis just making it underneath. A beautiful delivered ball. Teixeira goes to ground.
Close one there. I don't know. You know, we're far away. We can't really see, but good challenge if it wasn't a foul.
Comes off Cordolino and just goes out wide. It'll be the first corner of the game now to Bulleen, but wow, that was some good play. Quickly on transition on the counter there from Bulleen.
That's how quickly it can happen. Sienna could score up there, big challenge made, and then Cordolino can score up here. So, yeah, very transitional game.
That's why you can't turn your eyes away from this coverage at all. It's like trying to think when I can look at my stats, but honestly, there's not an opportunity to have a look at what the stats have been in this game. It's always to take the corner.
She's a great set-piece taker, so it's also another really big strength bringing her in. You know you're always going to get good delivery. Hope I haven't just cursed.
Zoyce loaded up wide. Pushed away from goal. And Zoyce benefiting from taking the corner and getting to the loose ball first. Seen a couple of players now almost get there. Oh, you can see, you said before that the quality of the pitch, it is good, but you can see some patches. We've seen a couple of times players, especially in the midfield, just getting their feet stuck in the ground. Do you think that's just also coming back to the NPLW style of pitches?
Yeah, and you know what? NPL is just a different gameplay sometimes.
Beautiful ball from Sakalis. Teixeira there on the run. Shields is out. And it's a massive save for Emily Shields. Then with her feet for the follow-up ball from Rossi. Well, she's having a great game, the goalkeeper for Bulleen.
Great game, great ball from Soph, great run from Sienna. That seems to be a really good link-up from Box Hill and very dangerous.
They've scored 20 goals so far this season, and now with the goal scored by Bulleen, they've also scored 20. So quite evenly matched. Aliada's having to raise up quite high. Bouncing ball. The bounce is slowing down its trajectory and Kanginja really having to push towards it. Cox looking up. Teixeira. Aliada's clears. And then the ball ends up going out. So again, we see an opportunity for Bulleen, and then we see 2 or 3 for Box Hill. So it has been going back and forth throughout this game.
Yeah, I do think Box Hill has been kind of more down in this end. They've just got to focus on that defense because it does seem like when it's transitional, Bulleen does break away and get their chances. But Bulleen's been defending for their life and big saves. So, yeah, it's really anyone's game.
5th versus 8th on the ladder coming in to round 12. Of course, hit the halfway mark. Every team's played each other once now. So now looking at towards the back end of the season.
It seems like Danny and Cordolino have both swapped sides, so I don't know if that's how they came out of the corner kick or if the coach has swapped them around, but if they say, then we know it's definitely been a tactical change.
Do you think that's just trying to match up against different defenders or just noticing where the ball's being built out of transition from Box Hill?
I would probably say it's a matchup. I think that the defenders of Box Hill have done a really good job against the Bulleen wingers. So just changing it up and see, how they go against a new opponent and whether it's going to be a positive change or not, and then, focus on that once the second half comes.
Could have been a dangerous situation there. Again, Aliadis just able to turn the body and open up. Bulleen ball. Canadian looking long to Cordolino. Somehow, despite being a head shorter than Parbury, still able to connect. Take two for Bulleen, progressing down the line. Alachino immediately looks back. Murray not wanting to invite the press any further. Plays it around. Long ball overhead. Bullich. Well, she does well to track back. And so we're going to have a little break in play there because it does look like there was a head clash between Murray and one of the Bulleen players.
Yeah, I didn't really see it in the moment, but I think they both kind of went down hobbling a little bit after. I think it's Ava Breedis on the ground. Not one who's typically known for jumping up and winning aerial duels, so hopefully that doesn't stunt her growth in that area.
Yeah, well, just thinking it, but wasn't going to say in commentary. You did see both Holly Murray playing central defence, not really position I'm familiar with seeing her, and we've touched on, but also Bullich just going in for those headers, and as the ball's been bobbling around back and forth, a lot of play. Yeah, we're going to have another little brief break and play here. Just tick over 39 minutes played. So really interesting to see how both teams will come out of this. Again, another quasi-type break that happens with these injury situations. Does look like Breedis is up and moving about, so good to see, but also just need to be really cognizant of these head knocks, especially in this game, because we have seen how concussion has affected so many players in this sport. So, well, we'll do a quick little verbal replay of what we've seen so far. A really strong opening minute from Bulleen. The goal scored by Brooke. There's a one-on-one opportunity with the keeper, slotted it home well. And then, well, it's been back and forth. Box Hill have had their opportunities. They've had control of the midfield, as you've said a couple of times. But Bulleen haven't been without chances. They've been using their press well. They've been using their speed and their transitional work. So it's been a game where both sides have had opportunities and look to be building throughout.
Agreed. It'll be interesting to see when they go in at halftime what will be changed from both sides and see how they can counter each other and stop those dangerous moments from happening so often.
And now we're seeing Box Hill again start to build up. Teixeira. Bullich just using her low center of gravity. Teixeira just had enough on it. It goes off the back. Sakala, Sophia Sakala's, deflection. Well, it'll be the first corner of the game for Box Hill. You can just hear how much I want to be able to say Sophia Sakala has scored.
Sienna, great work down the sideline. Great battle with Mila. Went her way. Great crossing. It looked like it maybe hit off someone's back. And then Sophia there, but a great block by Sarah Kane. This kind of seems how it's been going. Box Hill with some chances and Bulleen with some really die-hard defending.
Parbury to take the corner. Played low. Cleared by Kane. And then marshalled out by Buttress.
Not sure about the corner, if that was a, one that they practiced, like a little low-driven ball or a mishit corner, but it'll be interesting to see if they do it again.
Yeah, another corner coming their way. just didn't seem to have anyone arriving at the penalty spot or on the top of the box where it looked to be hit. So
sometimes that happens, miscommunication. What's important is that it doesn't happen 2 times in a row.
Another opportunity here for Box Hill. Owen Parberry to take once more.
That is a play that they're working. Obviously, that one a little bit in the air, which is really hard to hit first time. Maybe Bulleen's reading it really well. They're doing some tight man marking. So, yeah, not sure if that is what I would continue to do because it seems Bulleen are winning it and obviously now getting some dangerous counters. So,
Alachino. Katie Cox rather, but as we saw 2 set plays off the corner, well, Owen Parberry scored quite a few. Well, she didn't score. She assisted quite a few in that 5-0 game against Brunswick Juventus. Unfortunately, no further assist stats in the NPLW, but it seems like she has been quite instrumental from that right full-back position in creating so much of the attacking play for Box Hill throughout the season. Rossi on the strike, couldn't quite get the strike away. Brilliant block again from Buttress. Rossi, just the little toe to push it forward, crossed in. Strong position from Cagninia and a long, powerful strike, but again, just directly at Emily Shields. So the shots on target are coming through thick and fast for Box Hill. It's just whether they can create potentially some of those more dangerous opportunities XG Merchants will probably enjoy. Great work there from Barbary again, lofting ball over the top. Cagninia just the bullet again. Well,
you have to give Box Hill credit. They're doing a really good job on the Bulleen wingers. They're strong in their challenges. They're letting them know that they're there. You know, you don't want to say there's mind games going on with that, but there's always mind games. So you're going to hit them hard. You know, they are a little bit smaller builds, so you kind of leave a little bit extra in the challenge. Let them know that this is going to be how this game's going to go, and try and get in their heads that they don't want to keep dribbling at you and they want to pass the ball away and not use their strength of speed and dribbling to their advantage.
Long throw. Again, Box Hill just doing well to close it off. Alachino, she's been a goal-scoring threat this season. Rossi, she tried to look up and spot Teixeira, just couldn't get the pass further down the line. And just enough from Kane there just to direct into the path of Cordolino. You can hear the volume from Bulleen on the pitch. They're definitely a verbal team. Buttress down again. She's been clutching at that shoulder a couple times this game. Down the other end. Oh, Teixeira was just trying to time her run to not be caught offside. The ball just a little bit too ferocious in its velocity to time it with her run.
Shields also doing a really good job with that positioning. She's been able to read those a few times, so maybe just knowing that's what they're trying to find and adjusting her position to be able to come out and grab those if she needs to.
Well, 144th game in the NPLW Victoria today, so very seasoned professional Emily Shields. Rakic with the muscle. So we've finished the end of regular play now. Unfortunately, just missed what the fourth official held up, too engrossed in this game because you really can't look away. So We're playing to the whistle here. Great touch by Breedis. Unfortunately, just been very impressed by Parbury from what she does in attack and defense. Beautiful ball to Teixeira. Just the spin on it, just pushing it, propelling it backwards away from goal. An offside flag going up against Buttress. Having some words with the assistant referee. And the whistle will blow. And as we head into halftime, it will be Box Hill United 0, FC Bulleen Lions 1. Well, let's have a quick little chat about the half. Well, we saw plenty of action for both teams. And it did seem like a pretty well-fought match for most of it. Of course, Bulleen going up the goal, going into the sheds.
Yeah, I think Bulleen should be happy to have gotten that goal at the start of the game. I don't know if they took the foot off the gas after that, but it does seem like after that, had to defend for their lives at sometimes, and huge saves from both goalies. So there has been a change from Bulleen. Leah's come in. I'm not sure. Cordellino's come out. So we'll see if that makes a difference. A little bit more experience through Leah, so we'll see how that goes.
Great to see Leah Privatelli getting some minutes. Of course, played 30 minutes last week in the cup tie that Bulleen ended up winning against Burundara Casey Eagles. But now we'll get back underway. So pretty similar from how we saw that first half stay off, with the ball going all the way back for Box Hill this time. Didn't quite result in a goal. Yeah, so you've obviously seen Leah a lot over the past 12 months, and it's been quite a hard-fought battle for her to get back on the pitch. So how much would this mean to be able to be back here with Bulleen, a club that she's loved and been playing with for so long?
Yeah, look, I think physically it definitely takes a toll on you to have rehabbed for so long. And I see her grinding in the gym every single day. But I think mentally it's probably the more taxing. No one sees those struggles that you're going through. So you have to lean on your friends and your team. And she has a great medical team at Victory. The coaches, they love her. So to get out here, we actually have the Victory coach and the Victory physio here watching the game. And I'm sure a big part of that is because Leah's playing and everyone's excited to see her back out there and just, cheer her on and see her happy.
A real who's who of Melbourne Victory and the A-League as a whole here this evening at Box Hill, which is great to see. Now giving that ball back to Alice. Getting back into the swing of things here. Box Hill progressing down the line. Headed down by Cox. Rossi just being a little bit of a pest there. Massey diving in. Again, just the Holly Murray doing a lot of work in defence this evening. Has been called upon quite a few times for Box Hill. Bullich strong with the head. Kane. Bounces off and deflects off a couple of Box Hill players. So Bulleen doing well to hold possession. Now pushing down the line is Butcherus.
Yeah, Butcherus looks like she's kind of battling over there. I don't know if it's injury or a little bit mentally frustrated, but it'll be interesting to see how she responds. I think she's going to need a big second half here.
Yeah, she was taken a couple of times. We did see her have to get twice medical attention that first half. So Carlos now looking to move it onto her foot, runs in to Aliada, so didn't get the strike away. Massey with plenty of space to turn and choose which defender she wants to call upon. In the end, it's Kangninya. And Butcherus just streaming in. Bradis running out of room. Zoyce. Oh, the look was there to Privatelli, but in the end, it was the Box Hill goalkeeper, Sathapopoulos, called upon.
Good positioning by Leah, they must have had a chat at halftime about how they're going to deal with that back three and Liv going higher, because Leah kind of dropped in, cut off that angle. Unlucky with the touch, but in the right position. So maybe that's one of Box Hill's attacks that they're going to negate now.
Feels like a slightly slower start from how we finished off this first half, but arguably we did probably see a little bit of this warming into the game in the first as well, but just because it was such high energy in that last 30 or so minutes.
Yeah, it's shocking to me that both these teams are sitting where they're sitting on the table. I think, personally, they're two of the better teams. So, they were always going to come in hot. They knew this was going to be a really important game for them. And, looks like maybe Danny's come off the field
Yeah, so Anais Yosefsky has come on for Butros, so that change has happened. So both wingers having come off for Bulleen, and so really fresh legs going into this second half.
Yeah, look, if you're bringing Anais on, she's got the speed. She scored a lot of goals when she was at Boroondara, I believe. So to have her coming off your bench, if you can get her confident in scoring goals, that's definitely someone exciting to be able to bring on.
Well, Shields called upon once more, so the first 10 minutes or so played. I was trying to figure out why it said 5. We've restarted the clock for the second half. I was like trying to figure out the time of when these subs have happened. So on the clock it's saying 5 minutes played so far.
I remember playing in these NPL games and coming out second half, you know, maybe it's slow because it is so cold. I can remember coming out in our little team huddle saying, stay close, stay close. We know we just wanted body heat. So maybe just warming back up into the game and getting your legs moving over again.
And that is getting the legs moving, of course. Beautiful sliding tackle in the end from Murray. The run was on. Oh, just slides past. Oh, great work there from Rakic. In the end, had to be dealt with quickly by Box Hill. Will they look to attack now on the counter? Rossi takes the throw, wants to keep playing quickly. Teixeira has Bullich, leaves her in her wake. Keeps playing. Teixeira, what can she do here? Looks for Sakalis. Doesn't quite find her, and then the back of play. Bacalo was there. I think it would be something special for Nicolina Bacalo to score in her 100th game in this league. But the opportunities are coming now. The players have warmed into this second half. Sakalis on the move. A little bit of a dinky ball. And how about that? Karina Rossi celebrates her return to the NPLW. Sienna Teixeira celebrates her return.
I think we all saw that coming, you know, the link up between Sakalis and Teixeira. It was happening all the first half. So probably rightfully deserved from the two of them, even though it's hard for me to say. It was a great through ball, great run from Sienna. She was really close to that offside line, must have held it just perfectly, and a really calm finish.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant there from Sienna Teixeira to get the goal for Box Hill to bring them back to level in this game. So last time these two sides faced each other in round one, it was actually Bulleen going up 2-0 before Box Hill got arguably consolidation goal in the 73rd minute. But now we are seeing an even game, and interesting to see how both these sides will react with that goal. The ball from Sakalis, well, turned over quickly. Massey. Kane. Brutus. And again, well, Box Hill setting up very strong defensively. Ball pushed wide. Well, Box Hill seemingly having the lion's share of the possession to begin this second half as well. Alachino. Oh, play is really relishing the opportunities to be flying into these contests.
I love watching Mila play. Very fearless player, great defender, loves getting in a big challenge, and, you know, does it all as such a nice person. Smile on her face, gets up, apologizes to the other team usually, and then does it again 5 seconds later.
And that one from Rossi, just too much energy on it. I have to call in for the ball sitting at the halfway line. Seeming that a couple of the Box Hill players just taking this opportunity to get their breath back. Again, see Holly Murray. This time her opponent was Massey flying into that aerial contest. Would you say that was almost a nutmeg from Privatelli then?
I never count nutmegs unless they were meant to happen, and you get it back on the other side. So even though I love Leah, I'm going to say no.
Tagnina still on it, continues on her run. Leaves Bacola in her wake.
Boxhill's done a really good job when things, get a little bit frantic. They do a good job kind of resetting, keeping the ball again, getting the momentum back, and then starting again. I think that's something that's kind of separating the two teams at the moment.
Now played low. Teixeira. Could she go for another opportunity? Wins the corner at the very least. Pakala to be the player to take, so arms immediately go overhead, so players reacting. High delivery in this time from what we saw in that first half. Parberry gives it back to her captain and Ellis. Here comes the press from Bulleen. Yeah, that one a little bit difficult to see just due to the structural surroundings we have here at Wembley Park. Box Hill looking to move quickly. Shields quickly moving.
A good idea from Box Hill to just, get the ball down and play quickly. Bulleen looked like they're setting up for a long kick, so just catch them off guard. But Aeneas doing a really good job getting out there quickly and shutting it down.
Bacala. Sakalis again. Spoke about it in the first half, how she's sitting in between those lines and trying to find that space. The run continues on. And another corner one there from Box Hill. We're seeing a couple in quick succession. How do you feel that Bulleen have set up after that goal? Are they still just sitting a little bit back in their game plan?
Yeah, it looks like they're kind of, feeling like they're a bit under the pressure. I know they're not going to be wanting to tie this game, so they're going to have to start pushing forward again, and getting some more chances on goal. So it would be interesting with the two new wingers in, hopefully some fresh legs, they start getting forward a bit more.
Well, the corner played short by Box Hill. Now swung in. Bob hits the multiple heads. Holly Murray looks to be pushing her way through in the end. Picked up by Emily Shields. Well, looking at the home and away form of both these teams as well, Bulleen have actually won 3, only lost the 1 game and drawn 1 this season. So half their wins have come on the road. So they have been a great team when travelling away from the Ben.
Yeah, and it was interesting on the way here. It was a long drive, and I was thinking, Friday night, long drive, good tactic from Box Hill. But, yeah, hopefully that doesn't falter Bulleen's mindset too much, and they're able to, in my opinion, pull through.
Both these teams, well, the 1 draw for Bulleen, 2 draws so far for Box Hill, 1 at home. They've only lost once at home as well. 2 wins, so Well, it's a dangerous situation. Box Hill got out of it just in the nick of time.
A bit of a home field advantage for Box Hill. It is great atmosphere. They always get a good amount of fans out here. They've got a pretty big field. It's got a little bit of a hill to it. So it's something, if they're training here, that they can definitely use to their advantage. Just being able to play into so much space, especially with quick people up top, using that to their advantage. So, yeah, it doesn't surprise me that they've got a pretty good record at home.
Well, Box Hill looking to keep that record and pressing towards finals this season. Of course, it's starting to get to the pointy end. We've seen every team play each other once now, so coming into this round, we'll start to see some of the packs be separated, especially with the teams that we're looking to push on towards finals after the regular season.
A little bit of frustration there, I think, from Ava. It's been 2 plays in a row now with just a foul once she's lost the ball. But it'll be, it's good practice for her. She's a young player. She kind of gets caught up in the emotions at times. It's good training for her to just, be able to adapt, get over those feelings, and just continue to focus on her football and her game.
So free kick well within their own half. Box Hill looking to pump it long. Rossi. Out wide. Bacalo to Sakalis. And great run there from Yosefsky. But couldn't do too much with it. So a throw in a relatively dangerous area there for Box Hill. Immediately out to Sakalis. Plays it through. And the flag goes up. Aliadis had spotted that immediately. Rakic brings it down, tries to sell it to Cox in the end. The ball drifts centrally and pounced upon by Sakalis. Bacalo. Advantage paid. Rakic just tries to head it away from goal. Zois on the ball. Sails over the head of Privatelli and then towards the feet of Murray.
I see the idea there from Paige, wanting to get the ball in behind to Leah. She's a quick player. You want to get her facing forward, running at that end line and getting off some good crosses. So it's the right idea. It's just getting them back on the same page. And, not having played for a while, those things will start to click further into the season.
Now the opportunity. Ball drifting in, and again, well, Holly Murray today is actually her 47th appearance in the NPLW, which is funny because she has 47 appearances in A-League Women, so she matches stat for stat in terms of appearances in the A-League Women. Came on predominantly as a substitute throughout the season, generally in the midfield, so been getting plenty of ball and plenty of touches, marshalling the defence here for Box Hill tonight.
Yeah, Holly was a train on that Victory when I first went there. Great person, always loved the way she played. Very calm on the ball, wants the ball. Even for a young player, that's very rare to find someone who wants to get on the ball and, big moments with pressure around them. So, as a midfielder, she would have to be used to being on the ball in pressure situations. So, probably a breeze for her back there at center back with all the time in the world, facing forward, no one pressing you from behind. So, I think it is a position that suits her because she's also willing to get into big challenges.
softer touch this time from Box Hill, not looking to quickly switch up. Strong ball to Teixeira, and it had to be palmed away. And heavy shoulder to shoulder. Rakic. Well, foul conceded, and Bacala still down. You have to think these hits do hurt a little bit more in this cold weather.
100%. That whole play starts from an up, back, through pattern. They're really clicking when it comes to that Box Hill. They're finding Karina Rossi, who finds Takalis underneath her, and then they're getting forward, getting Sienna into wide positions to cross. Em did a good job to, get a touch on that ball, but not a good enough clearance from Bulleen and giving away a pretty dangerous foul.
Well, she gets back to her feet. Haven't seen any substitutes yet for Box Hill. You'd think that time would be coming very shortly. We're deep in the 65th minute at the moment. So the ball just a little bit further onto the field than a corner. So a pretty dangerous position for this free kick to be taking place. Carlos connects very well. And up in the air with Teixeira. Well, she could have had another tour tally for the evening. We'll actually see the first substitutions. So Alan Parberry coming off for Box Hill. Coming on, number 8, Zoe Katiforis. Oh, sorry, Sarah Pekaris, the one next to it on my list. Number 27, Nicolina Bacalo, in her 100th appearance, the player who came off. So, no, she was involved in that challenge just beforehand, so we'll walk the long way around. Now here comes the run. Strong work from Teixeira. Dealt with well. Still, in the end, Cagninia called upon to put it out. So it'll be another corner. So a lot of time being spent in the final third for Box Hill in the past 5 to 10 minutes, Kayla.
Yeah, I think Box Hill's kind of got that down. They're looking for Sienna over the top. She's great in a foot race. You've got to give credit to Mila Bulich. She hadn't played for a few weeks with a broken hand. She came back in last week. Doesn't look like she's missed a beat. Got a lot of high-speed meters going. Both of them do.
Ball swung in. Good work from Aliadis to head it down and away. Well, it does look like we're going to see potentially maybe a change. While Box Hill flag goes up, the goal won't count. It looks like we're going to see some changes for Bulleen Lions. Annabelle Yates, Madison Rakic coming off. And another change as well. So coming on, is that? So Nia Sala coming on for Ava Breedis. So we've seen 4 changes now for Bulleen as I'm about to approach the 70th minute.
Exciting for Annie to, get to come on for Bulleen in her first appearance. She's been a great player. I know Katie's been after her. So to finally get her across is going to be good, and it'll be exciting to watch her.
First, have to get the ball out of such a dangerous position. Box Hill just seemingly winning it back multiple times, and yet just on that, Annabelle Yates, just 17 years of age. This is her 49th appearance in the league, but her first with Bulleen, transferred from FV Academy in this transfer window. So good to see the youngster getting some minutes in a very stacked Bulleen Lions side.
Yeah, I definitely think they've gotten some good players. It's going to be, competition at every training to see who gets those spots. It's not something that they should be, fearful of. It should be something they're excited to rise to the challenge and be playing their best football.
And Nia Seller as well, another teenage player who scored the winner back in round 2 in the 90th minute. So, another proven goal scorer in this team.
Yeah, maybe that was the idea behind the sub there. Get Nia on, hopefully, start to get some attack back. Feels like they've been defending for this whole second half. So hopefully starting to get the ball forward more through her. So, yeah, that could have been the idea behind that one.
Well, possession's still sitting in favour of Bulleen at the moment, 53-47. Looking at our stats, so haven't seen too many shots in this second half, but we've seen plenty of dangerous plays. And, of course, that goal to Sienna Teixeira. Ball at her feet now. Running at a defender. Another corner in the end, so I was waiting to see if that was going to be called. There was going to be a sideline throw, but... So we're seeing just really starting to rack up for Box Hill.
Yeah, it's also interesting they've had so many different corner kick takers. You don't typically see that. So number 8, Sarah subbed on and now taking the corner. So maybe that, helps girls get on the field when they can be good set piece takers as well. Pekaris,
lofty ball in. And wow, it was a good looking corner off the boot. Alachino hasn't had plenty of opportunities to spring forward, but that's what Josie Alachino can do. She's been an excitement machine for Box Hill this season, really been deployed in the back line in this game, but you would hope there'd be an opportunity where she can get loose in the forward line because she's such a dangerous prospect.
Yeah, I've loved watching her play today. You said she played typically in the forward line, but she's done amazing in the midfield. She's been on the ball. She's been causing havoc in there. So, yeah, really exciting player to watch.
Opportunity now. Rossi looking over her shoulder. And Teixeira has to, in the end, just step over Shields, who came out strong. It's such an important facet of Emily Shields' game we've seen so many times this evening about the fact that she's not afraid to come out and really own that 18-yard box.
Yeah, I think there would have been a lot more goals for Box Hill tonight if hadn't been reading these balls so well. So she's done a great job tonight coming out. And, yeah, I think Bulleen's got to, give her flowers after this game.
Well, Karina Rossi went down after that play. All players looked to her, including the referee, and then time didn't quite stop. So now just waiting for the next ball out. So just clutching what looks to be at that left leg. So she did look like she just had a little bit of a skip in her run when she was going for that last ball.
Yeah, you hope it's just a cramp. It's interesting to see the girls out there. Box Hill's a bit annoyed that the Bulleen girls didn't kick the ball out. And it's always a gray area when it comes to the games. If it's not a head injury, do you play on? Or, game's tied, you're in control of the ball. Do you want to stop play? I'm disgustingly competitive, so I'm all for the play on.
No surprise here, of course. That's what makes you a winner, Kayla. So great to have you here after being crowned back-to-back victory medalist as well. Of course, you did get back-to-back media player of the year in the NPLW in 18 and 19. So, congratulations on the award, equal highest victory medalist for the club across both the men's and women's program.
Yeah, thanks so much. It all started at NPL and the media, and look at me now in the media, in NPL. So really small world, and yeah, really exciting and happy to be here.
We've gone full circle here at Friday night at Wembley Park. So yeah, both teams now just having the opportunity to fully talk, because we saw quite a few times in the previous breaks in play where they'll be in their sections, but this does look like it's going to be a full team conversation. So it is, we still have about 15 minutes to play, and I assume this will be adding some decent time on to in this half. So plenty to fight for. And we know how dangerous Bulleen are in these final 15 minutes of play. They've scored 9 out of their 19 goals going into this match. They scored, of course, that goal in the first minute. So 9 out of 20 goals. It's still a remarkable statistic to how much they score late in the piece. And is that attributing to the fitness of this team and the mentality?
Yeah, they've got a great S&C in Nick. He does a great job getting the girls fit. They take the running in the gym very seriously, so that definitely can be contributing to why they score so many late goals. I think, they're going to have to defend for their lives, though, at the moment. Box Hill seems, to be on top with that. So that takes a lot of fitness out of you as well, working back so much, so it's hard to then put the energy into going forward. So hopefully these little breaks, both teams can reset, get that breath, and we're going to have an exciting last end of the game.
So Rossi just on the side of the pitch at the moment, just seeming to be jumping, looking like she probably had a little bit of the pickle juice. So looking to make her way back onto the pitch. As it stands, locked in at 1-1. But less than 15 minutes of regular time to play in this match. We definitely have room and opportunity for some late drama and potentially a late winner from either of these sides. We've seen just how much they were threatening in the latter parts of that first half. Could we be in for a repeat in the second? Yates looking to take on her opponent.
Looks like Karina Rossi's down again, so don't know if she drank the pickle juice, but whatever it did, looks like she's maybe going to need a sub.
We've only seen the 2 subs for Box Hill, so plenty to call on from their bench. Of course, the goal scorer from recent weeks in Georgia Karapetis. Unavailable, minor injury, confirmation from the club. So Karina Rossi, unfortunately, being helped off in her first game back in NPLW. So it looks like we'll be having that change. And coming on for Box Hill, will be Gabrielle Simpson, who scored last time that these two sides faced each other in round 1. Well, she scored around the 73rd minute mark. It's currently in 78th, so who knows? It has the possibility to score here. Box Hill picking up where they left up. Teixeira. Beautiful ball, just Simpson does well to keep it in play. Murray versus Massey, the battle of the Todd Hollies. They've been going out a couple times this evening. Yates looking extremely composed on the ball since she's made her way onto the park.
Still maybe not, built that relationship yet, but with more game time from the both of them, looks like, something that can become a really good match together.
Yeah, both players playing their first game for Bulleen this season. It looks like there's a tactical change there in terms of which side the wingers are playing on. Yosefsky has come across to the other side, so it looks like Privatelli will now be playing on that left-hand side flank and probably giving a little bit more of familiarity with the fullback behind her.
Yeah, maybe. And, Annie's got a really good, long ball. Tiff's got a good long ball. So maybe it's finding Aeneas in behind now. She looks like she's looking for more of those runs than maybe Leah was. So maybe just trying to get her more on the ball and more involved in the game.
So Carlos running at the defenders, had 5 in front of us, and Simpson, well, the shot sailed over, but the flag went up, so potentially saved by the offside flag.
I would have to agree. I think saved by the flag a little bit there, even though the shot went over. Maybe heard the whistle and kind of pulled up on it, but great ball again from South. Great weight on it and good run.
Did you see a lot of that movement from Sakalis throughout victory training?
Yeah, look, in the game she probably wasn't given an opportunity like she would have liked and probably deserved a little bit. But in training, yeah, a bit of a menace. Connects well with everyone around her, so it didn't matter who she was playing with. Really good attacker on the ball and a real footballer. A lot of vision on the, when she's on the park. So it's something that I don't really think is taught or learned. It's just something that she was probably born with.
Well, of course, was a train on at Melbourne City from the age of 16, so has had plenty of experience across the A-League women traps back at home at Box Hill United, as we've seen in recent seasons. Of course, looking to who these sides will be playing in coming weeks. Well, it's a big battle next week for Bulleen. They'll be playing at the Ven against Spring Hills, who have been a real challenger in their first season in the NPLW.
Yeah, obviously Maya Markovsky going over to Spring Hills to play under her.
Oh, an opportunity now. Takchera into the side netting. Couldn't quite make it too. Well, that was a great one ball, and then unfortunately just slightly off from Takchera there, but really positive signs.
Really positive signs. Maybe getting out her first game rush. She's not played a game in a while, but she's definitely going to be one to watch for this season.
Yeah, so Spring Hills, it was a tight, was that 1-0 win with Salah scoring in the 90th. So pretty tough battle last time that those two sides faced each other.
Yeah. Look, obviously Bulleen's been able to...
Alachino again. Well, and then deflection off Aliadis falls safely into the hands of Shields, who came out for it. But again, sorry, every time I try and ask you questions, we're getting Box Hill attacking what it's exciting to watch. So difficult sometimes to have these conversations on broadcast, because it's just like when it's something, maybe this is how we got to urge them. It's a goal to be scored for these two teams.
Yeah, well, it kind of seems like it's going to happen again.
Strong work there. Now Privatali run. She's taking it out wide. Gives herself the opportunity. Sells it to the defender. And out comes Stathopoulos. Yeah, so we're really seeing the chances begin to build. But we've got 8 or so minutes left of regulation time. And of course, you can't help but assume it was going to be a fair few minutes. Stathopoulos had to have a few bites of the cherry to bring that one under control.
Yeah, look, keepers, when they make those mistakes, they're coming in hard and they're coming in strong. So good for Holly to get into the tackle, but good for the keeper to regain possession as well.
Alachino, delightful ball, shields out and takes a deflection on the way through. But again, that's Josie Alachino. She's just so wonderful to watch in her ability to put those balls in. Shame we haven't seen her a little bit further up the park this evening.
I know, she's been a great playmaker for them. And again, I've been so impressed with Sienna making those runs constantly. It's hard to sprint like that over and over again, and she just continues to do it. So, yeah, I think she's had a really good game. Both of them have.
Now Simpson applying the pressure as well. Do you think, a player who's then had the experience in the training environment, a club like Melbourne Victory, come back into the NPLW knowing that while they might not have gotten as much minutes in terms of playing, they would have had the strength and conditioning throughout the entire season?
Yeah, it's interesting because a player like Sienna would be playing on the second team, so she's going against the first team constantly. So maybe it's the mindset of if I can compete against the first team, I can definitely come in and make my mark here. So it's maybe just playing with that little bit of extra confidence.
Yates. All right to Bullich. Cagninia rather. And scooped away. The clearance, the favoured option at the moment, just to keep it away from goal. Murray, again, just coming through like a freight train at times, just trying to push through, get the clearance away, get the ball away from any player who could be having a dangerous crack at it.
Yeah, when the game starts to tick down a little bit and you're in the back line, both teams, whether, it's tied at the moment, it doesn't matter who's got the momentum, you're just trying to get that ball out. You don't want to concede a goal in these last few minutes. Get that ball forward and let your teammates up there try and deal with it and handle it.
The mist and the fog really starting to settle in here at Wembley. You can see it coming off the players. Again, unfortunately, the flag going up. We've seen quite a few offsides for Box Hill this evening. I don't believe we've seen any for Bulleen throughout this match, but has been emblematic of the way that they have been playing.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a tell. Box Hill's been getting forward more often than Bulleen has. So just, cutting it a little bit close, you do sometimes wonder, do they need that? Do they need to be offside? Can they hold their run a little bit more? And then would they be getting more goals out of it? You just never know. But it's a great problem to be having, that you're up there constantly. And surely a problem Caitlin wouldn't mind having at the moment.
Getting insights into potentially what these coaches would be thinking. Really appreciative having you joining us here on the call, Kayla. Simpson against Zoyce. Alachino seems to be playing with a bit more freedom as the game progresses. Beautiful play all coming through, and in the long-range strike from Cox. Well, she is the leading goal scorer for Box Hill this season, despite being one of their midfielders.
Yeah, it's interesting. It seems Box Hill are putting more numbers forward, and Bulleen's got to make the decision. Are they going to go follow in and just defend them, or are they going to, try and catch them on the back foot and put their own numbers forward, and then it can really become a game of transition.
Smart there from Pekaris. Looking to the benches, Box Hill's players seem to be pretty set. Doesn't look like when they get. Yeah, both the remaining Bulleen players still running through warm-ups throughout the match, but it does look like Box Hill players are just curious to see if we can expect changes, because Box Hill do seem to be the side in control for a lot of this match. We've seen quite a few changes, though, for Bulleen. Of course, the one at halftime, and only 5 minutes in the second half, so we saw the goal scorer, Danny Butcherus, go off around that 50th minute mark, and, of course, at halftime, it was Alana Cotolino being swapped out for Leah Privatelli in her return back to NPLW official football rather than just cup football, which we saw last week. Beautiful ball over the top. Yosefsky has a long way out. Tries to put the strike, and it just sails slightly over the crossbar. But my goodness, that was great play from Bulleen.
Great ball from Sarah, great run from Aeneas. I think if Bulleen's going to be looking to get a goal, that's going to be the way it's going to be done, with the ball over the top onto those quick wingers running in behind and catching Box Hill on the back foot. Because they're attacking so much, they could become a bit switched off in that back line. But that's something I'm sure Holly, with the experience back there, Liv Ellis, that's something that they'd be talking about and discussing and hoping to counter, and just, staying focused and continue that communication.
That's something you were just talking about, the fact that, the way that Box Hill are pressing forward is they might be exposed at the back, and that is the opportunity that Bulleen need to pounce on. So, great to have these insights with us, calling it exactly how you're seeing it. It's playing out as you call it. So,
play from Annie. Throw the ball no matter what. Leave it in the field. Get your position set back up and waste some time, and, hopefully frustrate the Box Hill players a little bit.
And it's also good here to just hear the vocal support from the Box Hill crowd too. So plenty of volume here at Wembley Park. Well, we've got probably around a minute left to play. Keep an eye to the fourth official this time, because we really do need to know how many extra minutes this game will be played for.
Could be quite a few because of the, players going down.
Beautiful run again by Teixeira. What can she do here? Oh, palmed out save from Emily Shields. But my goodness, Sienna Teixeira, hasn't she been having some game?
great game from her so far. I'm sure she would love to have a few more goals, but she'll take this for her first game back. She should take it with a smile on her face because, yeah, she's been a star out there tonight.
Well, 3 minutes of time, a minimum of 3 minutes of time added on in this match. So I thought it would be a little bit taller, but there's 3 minutes is plenty for both these sides. So Carlos looking to be the player to take the corner kick. There's a low delivery, straight towards the top of the box. And now Privatelli pushing it forward on the counter. It's getting a bit slippery out there too. Not just the fog, but the frost starting to settle in too. So pumps along. Again, we're just seeing a little bit of the ball just bobbling around. Kane dropping to her knees. Does seem to just have a little bit of the clash there. So the foul conceded just over, just inside the own half for Bulleen. So curious to see how they will set up for this.
Yeah, Bulleen will be wanting to take their time here. You don't want to allow too many more plays to happen after this. Kind of want to get that last-minute goal, putting Tiff up, hopefully to get on the end of it.
Aliadas eventually is the player who gets to that ball. And Privatelli brought down, and again, we're seeing plenty of players stay on the deck after those challenges. So another call to the physio. So we're roughly almost 2 minutes in to that minimum of 3 minutes. And I think this would extend it just a little bit, but looks to be a corner when the ball will be restarted as well.
I think maybe a throw in really closely in the corner. Bulleen will want to keep the pressure on for this last minute, keep the ball in. So won't leave too many people back, especially if Box Hill, drops their players in, and just keep that sustained pressure. But again, they're going to need to stay switched on because with a player like Sienna, she can definitely break away here.
So time remaining, ticking down. Well, it doesn't look like any of the players are having those conversations. They're just waiting for the play to be restarted. Looks like Alan Parberry, who was super instrumental in that first half. And so much of the attack and the defense coming through her flank. Yeah. So let's talk about the sides that these two have. Well, now we have an actual... Oh, am I willing the game back into starting? But of course, Box Hill next week will have Essendon Royals at Cross Keys. Always a really difficult matchup for those teams to travel out to Essendon.
Yeah, Essendon, it seems like a bit of a hard game for teams at the moment. They're winning hard games, losing easier games. So, yeah, it'll be... I think Box Hill will have to, stay focused for that game to get the result.
Well, header back in, Parberry still getting some treatment on the side of the pitch. Could this be the break needed? Alachino was the player with the ball at her feet. Well, you can't help but wonder if this is going to result in the first card of the game. And it will be a yellow to Josie Alachino. Hasn't been many cards. I haven't seen any cards yet, but this deep in the 94th minute.
Not a bad time to be getting a yellow card. You don't know, maybe Bulleen was going to break there, so she needed to stop the play. Really a selfless move to do something like that and take the yellow card into your tally for the team.
Yeah, professional foul. Yeah. So we've surpassed the minimum, but now at an opportunity goes begging for Bulleen, still bouncing around the heads of many players. Captain Alice clears it. Well, we'll still continue on, just keeping a close eye to the hand movements and hand signals of the referee. Massey. Aliadis really pushing forward. You'd think this is a player who's had plenty of experience in these tough moments to try and get a goal at the end of this match.
Yeah, I think you leave a player like her forward. She can win you the game winner. You know, she wants to take it on. She will shoot that ball. She's confident to do it. So you leave those kind of players in there. And this could be the last play of the game, so you're definitely going to leave players in now.
Bulleen line up. Can they win it at the death here? Ball swung in. And just wide. Another corner. So we'll keep playing. Well, you just feel like your heart's at the edge. Just you don't know what's going to happen in these final minutes. And with the extension of time, because of the injuries we've seen, there are plenty of chances here. Zoyce standing over the ball. Delivery. Was that a handball? And Massey still, the ball's live, a long shot, sails over. And the final whistle is blown and the points will be shared here at Wembley Park. Well, it was a goal in the opening minute for Danny Butcherus. And then early in the second half, what a goal by Sienna Teixeira. Brilliance. And the points will be shared here this evening. Kayla Morrison, how did you sum up that whole game?
Yeah, look, I think Box Hill might feel like they deserved more than a tie today. However, I think with that last play, Bulleen will feel they deserved a penalty with the handball. So maybe both teams will walk away a little bit frustrated from today. But I know both teams will also be happy to have gotten all those players from the transfer window fit, playing, and getting some game time under their belts.
So as it ends, 16 shots for Box Hill, 9 for Bulleen Lions. Well, Kayla, your fans are here. They can hear them quite loudly. Really appreciate you joining me here in commentary. Of course, plenty more NPLW football to come. Make sure you stay tuned on the NPL Victoria Facebook, YouTube.